Hey, Mim.
Hey, Scarlett.
Welcome back, guys. You're listening to Style Over Substance.
We're just two friends talking about our experiences working inside the fashion industry and also our observations from outside the fashion industry. It's sometimes serious, but it's definitely always a good laugh.
Always. We release new episodes every Tuesday.
So subscribe on your favorite podcast listening platforms.
My hair's looking great.
It actually reminds me of your hair at school.
Yeah, this.
I can't talk. My hair is so greasy. I put a hair mask in it yesterday, and I was meant to wash my hair this morning before I went to the office, and I just decided, nah. So it's just got a lot of dry shampoo in it.
Wow.
But like the hair mask, the ends like don't look like they've got one in, but yeah, I've looked better, you know. But
haven't we all?
Haven't we all? Humidity is getting to us.
Oh, well, I really appreciate these showers that are happening right now.
The world needs it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really needs it. I don't have a garden, but the gardens need it.
Yeah. You know what didn't need it? Is my washing on the washing line.
Yeah, and actually I'm already getting the winter dread when it comes to washing. I just love how fast washing dries in this weather. I just love it. And the winter dread of like, you know, something will dry in like a few hours in this weather. The winter dread of like, oh, it needs a few days. Like, you know.
Indoors. You got the 2-3 racks just chilling in your house.
Yeah. Trying to be near a radiator, but still not doing loads, rotating it, you know, so it gets...
Yeah, I know.
Not that I'm wishing away summer, because I'm not, but I've already got the winter dreads on. What's your fashion story? So, my fashion story is that Miss Kimberly, is it Noel?
Yes, it is.
Kimberly Noel. First of all, she broke up with Pete Davidson, and the internet is shook. But she has done a collaboration with Beats headphones and released 3 shades of Beats headphones, and they're meant to, I guess, incorporate a range of skin tones so it can look more subtle in your ear and blend in a bit, which, to be honest, I'm actually surprised Apple haven't done, because I actually I forget that I've got them in and maybe like have a picture, and then you're like, they're so obvious in your ear. It's such an eyesore. I had this when I went traveling, because I was alone a lot. I would listen to music as the soundtrack of traveling, and every photo I've got of myself, I've got headphones in, and this was before wireless, so I've got like the things hanging down. So like it makes sense, and they probably look a bit like singers in ears or whatever. But yeah, she's just, and it's very Skims, it's very KW beauty, it's very her, like, but she's just doing it all.
I thought it was an excellent idea, and in the same way you said, I'm surprised this hasn't been done before. Why has it not been done before?
Yeah,
the person who's going to do it is obviously the nude aesthetic queen that is, Kimberly Kardashian.
Yeah.
But also when I saw it, first of all, I thought, great idea. This would sell if I were to buy AirPods, whatever they're called. then I would get these. But the fact that, you know, Beats by Dre is owned by Apple, I was like, wow, she's essentially got a collaboration. Did you not know this?
Didn't know that.
Yeah, they're owned by Apple. They like bought them from Dr. Dre.
I think I sort of do know that, because I swear that they used to boast that they had the inbuilt speakers.
Yeah. The Beats by Dre pairs really easily with Apple products.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, like, wow. Like,
how much involvement do you think that Dre has in that?
I don't think anymore.
But he still will be making money on that.
Oh, of course, yeah. But yeah, I was thinking, like, this is really a massive moment to have a collaboration with Apple, essentially. Like, these colors is not in Apple's normal aesthetic. They're very much white, silver, you know, and then they have some like jewel tones that they come out with things in. But yeah, I think this is probably, I mean, the fact that she partnered with Fendi earlier in the year or last year, and now with Beats by Dre is insane. And it really is, I guess this part has always been part of Apple's ethos, is like the fashionization of technology. Like, their products have always looked sleek, and that's always been a backbone of their products, that it's supposed to look expensive and sleek and trendy and stuff. But this really is a really cool marriage between the beauty sphere and technology in like a way that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it makes a lot of sense. And as you said, like, it's not really part of their aesthetic, so it makes a lot of sense for them to first introduce it as part of a collaboration. I guess that's also a way for Apple to test that out, see if the demand is there before they do it maybe in their own line of things. Yeah, I actually think it's quite a big thing for her. I think that, like you said, there are certain things where you're flogging a dead horse, Kimberly, but there are other things where you're like, no, this is actually like, this is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
She's not in the tech world. Yeah, of course, it's probably just that she chose 3 shades, let's be honest, and put her name to it. But still, it's a really high profile collaboration.
Yeah. And I saw it and I thought 100% Kanye gave her this idea. You know?
Yeah. This has been in the works since before she fell out with Kanye.
Kim is a socialite, and all props to her. She knows how to socialize and she knows how to do that marketing thing. But she's had a lot of bad businesses. She's had a lot of bad products. And I think there's a lot of people who forget, before they became mega famous, in the first few seasons of Keeping Up, they were flogging all types of shit, weren't they? And I mean, the fact that she came out with KKW Beauty years after when she should have, she came out with Skims years after when she should have, again, those are examples to me of her flogging a dead horse. Like, really, like, you should have done this like 6 years ago, Kim.
Yeah.
But this does seem like, this is something I can get behind.
Yeah. I don't really. Would I? That's what I was thinking. I was like, would I get some? So I don't have any Beats headphones, so I don't know how decent they are. Potentially, I don't know. I mean, I don't feel the need to have skin tone headphones. But it might encourage me to try out Beats. I don't know.
Yeah. I think you're right there. It's like for those who maybe didn't have Beats inner earphones on their radar, they, they're converts now. I have some Beats headphones. They're like quite entry level, but I need a bit of wire, if I'm honest. They go around your neck. I can't do this like completely wireless thing because they'll just fall out my ears.
Well, I've got like a super entry pair. I think they came free with my iPhone that like, yeah, that are around the neck and in the ear, but they don't stay in my ear. And I want actually really decent headphones for running. But I just like to get really good, you need to be spending a couple £100. And I just sort of refuse. I'm clumsy. I lose things. I've even lost, I don't know how, like big headphones that I don't even know what they're called. Headphones that like noise cancelling headphones.
Yeah.
I've lost a pair. Like, how do you lose those?
Oh, I don't know.
I didn't even leave them anywhere. I know I've lost them in my flat.
Oh.
So yeah.
Speaking of headphones, though, the new Apple ones, over the head, proper headphones, I think they're really nice looking. I'm not getting them because it's way too much money, but in my mind, I own a pair, and I think they look great. Yeah.
Amazing. What is your fashion story?
Oh, I don't have one.
What's the best thing I've ever heard?
Yeah, I don't have one this week. I think that is a great segue into what our topic for this week is.
We interrupt this broadcast to say, go follow us on Instagram. Our handle is @StyleOverSubstancePod. There you'll find our weekly fashion topics, all the stuff that we discuss in each episode, and our polls.
Or reach out to us at styleoversubstancepodcast@gmail.com for new suggestions of topic discussions, or even to share your own fashion stories. We also have a YouTube channel, Style Over Substance Podcast, if you'd rather listen to our episodes over there.
Back to the episode.
Our topic for this week's discussion is really born out of what we're both dealing with. I yesterday went for my lash extension patch test. So now I have like 3 extra long eyelashes on the corner of both my eyes. Do they match my other eyelashes? No. But for the sake of a patch test, they're there. And I think we've just been having this ongoing conversation for the past month about personal grooming, the frequency of it, the different treatments available. Do you buy into them? Do you not buy into them? When do you stop? When is too much? The expense of it all, and our ever growing standards for grooming as well. And it's so intrinsically linked with fashion, because I think, again, on this podcast, we've discussed how you can be wearing this really simple outfit, but if your grooming is on point, if your hair and your makeup and your nails and what is done, it's like you look like $1 million type thing. So yeah,
sure. So I think I even sent you a voice note the other day saying how, so I think I'd been sat in the sun a bit, and you're just a bit sun-kissed. And so for me, that then means like my skin, it just feels good. So I've got freckly skin. I love what that does to my face. Like for me, that makes me feel like I don't want much makeup because I don't want to cover them. They sort of flare up in areas, and I feel like creates dimension on my face, all this stuff. And so when my face is like that, and if it's clear of spots, which fortunately freckles do hide somewhat, it blends in, but I then don't feel like I need makeup. I just want some lash extensions or like a lick of mascara, need maybe a bit in my eyebrows because I don't have the fullest of eyebrows, and like that would be me like good to go, and maybe some lip balm. But saying that is still me talking about lash extensions. Like realistically, if you want that no makeup look, you want your eyebrows microbladed, or like if you're a hairier eyebrowed friend, you want them laminated or whatever it is and shaped and sculpted. I don't have that issue. I need help adding to them. But equally on top of that, you want nice nails. Like, I have a real nice nails say so much about a person.
Really?
Yeah, didn't you said the other day you hate when someone's nail varnish isn't done well?
Oh, I do, but I don't think it says something about the person.
Not, but like, I don't know. I just really appreciate, maybe it's more, I really appreciate if someone's got nice nails. Like, I'm like, you've made an effort there. I know that upkeep. I know that's hard work. I know you've paid good money for those.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Like, I do. I've always had an appreciation for good nails. And yeah, it is a lot of upkeep, and it begs the question that, and I think you've mentioned about in regards to lash extensions. Once you start doing a treatment, you get used to the way you look with them on. So your eyes look different and your face looks different and you like that look. And so you need to keep it up. And lash extensions are what, about 45 to 60, 70 pounds a full set.
Mm.
And then plus the infills. I'm not sure how much infills are, about 30 pounds, 40 pounds, something like that.
Yeah.
And you know, if you're going to commit to doing grooming, you have to be committed to the upkeep.
That is the thing. It's the upkeep, because it's one thing to get nice nails, nice lashes, a wax for a holiday, all of that stuff. If you want to be the girl with nice lashes all year round, if you want your nice nails all year round, if you want to be silky smooth all year round, you know, get your hair done, all of that stuff, that upkeep is not cheap. It's not cheap.
And it's that like consistent upkeep is what makes you look effortless. Do you get what I mean? Because you kind of pretend like, oh, I just look like this all the time. Like, I'm just born like this, mate. Like, you know. And if 1 week your lashes are looking great, and the next month they're like, you got the last little stragglers holding on for dear life, you almost like break the fourth wall. Do you know what I mean? That line of like fantasy is broken. We now know what you actually look like.
Yeah.
So you like so I wear my nails short most of the time, especially when I actually have to do some proper work. But if I'm going on holiday or if I feel like a change, I've had acrylics done a few times. Scarlett's much better than me at this. You have longer nails most of the time. And so anyway, when I get acrylics done, and I want them obviously to look good all the time. So that's like getting your nails done, if you're quite religious about it, like every 2 weeks. Yeah. And I'm like calculating like how much I'm going to spend. How long can I commit to this expenditure for? Because again, I want them to look like they're always done and effortless. And another thing with consistency, it's not just a price thing. It's finding the time to get them done.
Yes.
And booking the appointment that you can get.
Yeah. This is a problem I have when it comes to my lashes. And maybe it's because I'm not that experienced with them still. And also sometimes I feel like they last longer than others. It probably depends how well I'm looking after them, how much mascara I put on them, which you're probably not meant to. But I'll suddenly be like, oh, I want to get them done next week. You're like, oh, sorry, I haven't got any appointments till like blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, well, then I'm going to be becoming bald. So then it then begs the question, like, should I just, like you said, break that wall and just accept my life without them? Otherwise, I'm going to restart again. And it's just a lot of commitment. Sort of, I don't know how frequent lashes are. Let's say it's every like 3 weeks. You're probably meant to have a top up.
Yeah.
Nails, it's every 2. I personally don't get waxed, but I did start doing laser hair removal on my underarms. But again, it's really expensive, and then it's sort of like I'm now it pretty much had gone away, and now it's sort of coming back a bit more. I'm like, oh, I've got to go again because I haven't finished that course, and they told me it'd be 6 sessions. So I was like, I don't think it will be. And yeah, you kind of just got to like do what is expected or required of you. And yeah, it adds up. It really, really does. I begrudge it.
Yeah.
And we aren't even talking like Botox and injectables here.
Oh yeah, that's true. We're talking like entry level upkeep maintenance. That's so true. Like, I'm not one to get injectables. I don't really think my face needs things added to it. If anything, things need to be taken out of it. But yeah, like that is something that has become even more common over the past few years. And that is a real expense. I mean, microblading, which is not even like, is it a cosmetic procedure or it's like considered tattooing? But that in itself is about £500 to get your eyebrows.
It doesn't last forever. You need top ups.
Doesn't. I've considered getting this done though, but then I saw the price and I was like, Miranda, get a grip.
I find it quite stressful. Not that it's because it's not permanent. But I do find it quite stressful of like the shape of an eyebrow. If they just didn't do that the way I wanted.
Yes.
I just, yeah. You know, because some people have their face and their eyebrows just dictate the shape. I sort of have eyebrows that if I fill them in certain ways, I can sort of play them up a little bit. I mean, granted, I tend to fill them in the same way, but I don't know. I don't want someone to interpret my eyebrows the way I don't want them to.
Yeah, I think they pencil on the outline.
For sure, I know. Yeah,
I know what you mean. It's a risk. It's like getting a tattoo, isn't it? Your life is in their hands because, quite frankly, your brows are your life. And for the next solid 9 months, you know, before they start to fade a little bit, you are committed to that brow look and that density and that depth of brow.
And to begin with as well, they're really dark. And I think, like anything, I'm someone who, like, the first day after getting your hair done, the new color, the new cut, and it always looks a bit too like glossy and done after a hairdresser's. I hate it. I never like it. And you just need it to settle in a little bit. You need to wash it yourself, style it yourself. Like, you come out looking like an angry bird. And of course you're never going to like it. And they tell you it's going to fade. And of course it is going to fade. But you don't want to walk out of an appointment with regret.
Yeah, definitely. It's such I remember when I moved over down this neck of the woods, and I literally went to about, I think I've been to about maybe about 4 different waxers until I found one that I was comfortable with. I've been to about maybe about 2 or 3 nail salons before I settled on one that I felt like I could trust at a reasonable price.
Yeah.
With like brow lamination or blading or injectables and things like that, because it's more permanent.
Yeah, you can't shop around.
Shopping around is a nightmare, I'm sure.
You have to go off of word of mouth. So that means that you have to know someone who has had that done and you like the level that they got that done. And yeah, I think when it comes to things like that, I would also just want to pay. I wouldn't want to pay a cheap price. I'd be like, you know what? I'll go for one of the most expensive options because hopefully that means they're the best, because it's fear of how permanent it feels.
Yeah, I think everyone has those intentions where they're like, oh, well, I'm going to pay top dollar for
but it's expensive.
But we're talking about thousands in upkeep.
Yeah.
So I've got some figures.
Okay. Yeah.
That I have found on the interwebs. Some of them are about the beauty industry in general for the UK, and then some of it is about
grooming.
Spend on average on beauty treatments. Some of them I don't agree with, but I'll see what you think. Okay, so a website called Policy Bee. Now, the name's a bit misleading because it sounds like it'd be a shit website, but I believe in these figures. It says that hairdressers and personal care salons in the UK were at their highest in 2019, reaching £8.6 billion industry. And they said this was equivalent to every person in the UK spending £166 on personal care treatments yearly. That I can believe.
Yeah.
A is not a lot a year. And that is like every single person in the UK getting beauty treatments, which we know that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And then it says at the end of lockdown in April 2021, there was a reported 432% spike in bookings. Do you remember that time? Chaos. Now, I'm really glad I didn't have acrylics back then during lockdown, because I would have been pulling my nails off with pliers if I had to somehow upkeep months old acrylics on.
And you know what? This is a really good point as well. And one that I feel like we should have all learned from is, imagine if there's another pandemic. I kind of vowed to be this girl that you don't, then suddenly everything falls out, like your eyelashes fall out, your nails come off, and then you're like, this is the real me. But yeah, sorry, continue with your stat.
Well, that was a time where people started trying to do their own beauty treatments at home. That's when we had lockdown haircuts.
Yeah.
That's when people were a bit more adventurous, because it was born out of necessity, but then it was also like, well, I'm not going anywhere.
No one's seeing it.
So no one's really going to see me. And yeah, that was an interesting time we all lived through. So the American Express Shop Small initiative basically predicted that hair and beauty industry within the UK would grow 16% by 2023 and reach about 56,000 independent salons.
Wow.
So yeah, and then now this bit is like average amounts we spend in our lifetime on beauty treatments, and I want to know what you think about these.
Okay.
So Harper's Bazaar, I think this was taken from 2017, so it's a little bit old. The other figures I gave you was from last year, so they're a bit more reliable. But anyway, Harper's Bazaar was saying that a new study, new as in old one, has revealed that 49% of us, I think women, hate the idea of hair removal, though the average woman still spends £23,000 to wax away unwanted hair over the course of her lifetime.
I've heard mad figures when it comes to hair removal, and that's why lots of these laser places justify it, because they're like, even just buying a razor, like all the things that you try, like waxing, like shaving foam, just like the repeat buying, all of that, if you add it up, it's actually more cost effective to invest in laser hair removal.
Yeah,
is the way they get you.
Yeah, I've done a course of laser hair removal and it didn't really work for me. It completely depends on your skin color, your hair, how coarse your hair, how thin it is, and the hair color itself.
Yeah.
I'm
going to boast I'm the perfect candidate.
Yeah, you are. How does it feel to be the chosen one?
I've got to be chosen at something.
My colleague, though, we went to the same place. This was years ago, and to the same salon. She is Italian, and she has very fine hair, and it works really well.
Oh.
And she even showed me her bikini line, and I was like, oh, wow, I'm jealous. But yeah, it is a tricky one, because you could be like me and spend a little bit of money on doing laser, and you end up just going back to other treatments.
Yeah.
So it also goes on,
23,000. It's a lot, isn't it?
What?
23,000 in a lifetime.
Yeah. It gets worse. It was revealed that an average British woman spends a staggering £70,294 on her appearance over her lifetime, with makeup and skincare products taking up most of the budget. Now, for you, I think that's...
I was going to say, like, maybe. Makeup and skincare. I guess that covers the people who are really luxe with that stuff. But I would also say there's a huge proportion of people who literally wear the same 10 products on their face. They buy their, they don't buy into the high-end stuff. So, that counteracts that a little bit. That's like £1,000 a year. But like not even, because you might not even be using skincare.
But like from the age of 10.
Yeah.
About a year.
That's a lot.
Well, the average, of course, is gonna pull in those who are mega rich.
Yeah.
Be counterbalanced by those who are really cheap about personal grooming. I think that if you were to break that down, £1,000 a year, okay, say you got your lashes refilled every 3 weeks to a month, you got your nails done every 2 weeks.
I feel like that's not what he was talking about. I feel like that was talking about product.
No, but it's still part of that figure.
Okay,
it's makeup and skincare products takes the most. I mean, you're refilling on. Okay, so I use Paula's Choice face wash and stuff, and one bottle of her liquid exfoliant is £30. I mean, it lasts a long time, but it's not like, back in the day, Dove soap, borrow Dove soap to wash your face. And then the face wash is like £15. And I'm on the relatively low maintenance end of it all. Like, I don't use serums. Maybe I should, because I don't have the best skin, but serums and SPF specialized like SPF products, and then the makeup, like, I don't know, more expensive brands, and how often you wear them predicts how often you're going to refill on them, obviously. So I can see £1,000, really.
Yeah. I can definitely see it, especially with how expensive certain products cost and all the rest of it.
does it also factor in perfume?
I mean, if it does, then that's like easily, you know.
This was kind of like when we did that. How much of your wages should you be spending? Absolute joke. But still, that is a staggering amount. But then again, I'll bring up another figure and we can have a bit of a discussion about it. But life is for enjoying, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can't look at every aspect of our life and say, well, it cost me this much to
Yeah.
do this. And say, well, then it wasn't worth it, or it was staggering, or it was like, put it into context. How much money do you spend on other things in your lifetime? And then that kind of gives you an idea on how much value it was for you.
Yeah. And what brings you joy? Like certain people get more out of it. Like I really enjoy makeup. I enjoy this side of things. So it probably makes more sense that I spend more money on it than someone who doesn't care about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know?
Up for all of those who don't care about it.
Exactly.
So Daily Mail. Now, this figure, we could just call it bullshit if we want to, because, I mean, it's not really a beacon of journalism, is it? But in this article, this one was actually a lot kinder on the average British woman's thought to spend this amount of money. It was much lower than the 70 grand. But what I really hated about it basically said the average British woman is thought to spend a total of £12,645 on health and beauty products in their lifetime, which is vastly different to the 70k. And then it goes on to say roughly the same price as the average first-time buyer's mortgage deposit. First off, this was clearly pre-2021 because you can't really buy much for 12 grand. But to my point, it's about, really, if you're only spending 12 grand in your lifetime on personal grooming, I don't really think that's a lot of money.
And also, you can't compare that to, I add up what I spend on, I don't even know, bin bags, and it might come to the deposit. Like, you know, you can say that about anything. You can't add that up over that many years. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's like a fair comparison.
And they also cut in that. It's so ridiculous, that comparison of that snide comment of you could have spent your money better else.
That's why you can't afford a house.
I'm going to wait my entire lifetime to save up 12 grand. So at the age of 90, I can buy my first average property, which will probably be like 100 times more expensive by the time I'm 90. It's dumb. But a lot of these average spends on blah blah figures are pretty ridiculous in general. My next question for you, away from the figures, in preparation for this episode, I did come across some accounts of women who felt like, well, they said they felt pressure within the workplace to be really well groomed. And I wanted to pose the question to you of, do you feel that pressure? Do you think there is that pressure? Do you think it's self-inflicted by women? And of course, we know that, you know, the better looking you are, the more successful you'll be, because people like beautiful people.
People like beautiful people, yeah.
And we I think we give more chances to those we see as more favorable.
For sure. If you are pleasant, and that is in like the wider sense, if you're pleasant to look at, you're pleasant to be around, you get afforded a few more things than other people, for sure.
Exactly. But me personally, I have not felt pressure to be particularly groomed at work. So what's your thought on it?
I haven't. And actually, I will say fashion companies I've worked for are the least groomed places probably ever. I had bosses that would turn up in pajamas, you know, like, really low maintenance kind of women. I actually think you find in a lot of fashion companies with creatives. Granted, I worked one place where there was like the CEO, a creative director, and the CGO were very glam, like for sure got like blow dries a few times a week, like all of that stuff, like head to toe glamour pieces. But I thought that was quite unusual and more like them living up to some Devil Wears Prada fantasy. I think it probably comes from people. There are some workplaces that do expect it. Like I think in a more corporate industry, I think I would probably feel that a bit more, where you've got to kind of, and I still think there's not really good enough female equivalents to a suit for a man. I think it is so easy for a guy to look sharp in a suit, a nice shirt and a tie. And I think it is so much harder for a woman to look presentable in like similar things, depending on their shape. Some women can pull off a pantsuit really well. If you're wearing like a fitted pencil skirt, that feels quite sexualized a little bit in points. I just don't think there's the equivalent. And I also think, then I think it's just easier for a man to look put together. And I think a woman has to try a lot harder in those environments to probably look as polished. But yeah, mine is all self-inflicted in the sense of like, oh, my nails look a bit rubbish. Oh, I hope people won't look at my hands much today. Or it's more self-inflicted, or my makeup's not that great, or you catch yourself in the mirror and it's smudged half down your face. I don't care about that from any perspective other than my own interest in why I put makeup on in the first place was to make myself feel good. But I have also heard of, I know that at Tom Ford you used to have to wear red lipstick and heels. So I think some workplaces, and there's like only recently, wasn't there was like a thing where it was compulsory for women to wear heels and that got banned in an office. I think I've been fortunate that the places I've been haven't been super tidy and neat.
Yeah, that Tom Ford thing, I don't know if it was a legend or
no, it was true.
Old rule. I don't think it happens anymore.
No, I think it has stopped, but yeah.
I used to work for a brand, and this was when I was on the shop floor, and it was very much the uniform was part of the appeal of the brand. And as sales associates, we knew from, when you get the job, what the uniform policy is. And the uniform policy does extend to the way you do your makeup and whether you wear heels or not. And you knew that was part of the deal, because probably a reason why you wanted to work there was because of that vintage pin-up aesthetic. And so I didn't really mind it then. So I'm not really against certain uniform rules. I think partly because I've lived through some pretty like strict uniform rules before. But besides that, I think you're right in terms of fashion as a whole. Because you do work in fashion, if you're in the office, there's a lot of people who might dress in trends. So they don't dress formally, they don't dress smart, they dress fashionably. And then there's some people who take that as an excuse to wear whatever they want to wear. And that is not necessarily a well put together outfit. Sometimes that is literally a hoodie and jeans.
Yeah.
And that can be your manager wearing a hoodie and jeans. Yeah. And like, I remember thinking, oh, okay, this is a bit weird, because when you think about, I'm going to be working in fashion in the head office, you think that there's going to be some sort of standard or level to upkeep, when in my experience, there wasn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know what you mean. Like those sorts of places, definitely I saw some of the like less groomed people ever. I think corporate work is different. People take their appearance more seriously and less creatively. And so I think definitely grooming. If I were an investment banker, and I was getting paid big bucks, or I was a solicitor and I was getting paid a lot of money and I was working in corporate, I almost feel like the money they pay me is so that I make sure I don't come into the office looking shit. It's like you've got no excuse. Do you know what I mean? Like all the guys come in with haircuts and a clean shirt, for crying out loud. And all the women like don't come with chip nails. I feel like that, I don't know what that is, but it's the expectation of having a particular sort of job at a particular level. And so I think if I worked in that sphere, then if I worked in a corporate job in the office, then I would feel more pressure. But in general, I think I'm with you. It's a bit self-inflicted. I know for certain I look better if I put on some under-eye concealer and I brush my brows.
Yeah.
And I have decent nails. And I don't want to be in the office or on Zoom or whatever feeling a little bit like self-conscious. I don't know.
Yeah. I once explained this to actually a colleague, and it was even like, I dress a certain way, like it's for my own confidence. So I had to do like a presentation, and I was like, I've put on a good outfit. I was like, and it's for me. I've done my hair and I've done my makeup so I can feel as confident as possible in myself. I might even put on like matching underwear that day. Like I might like go for it and be like, I feel amazing in myself because I want to feel as confident as I can be. And for me, if I looked in the mirror and saw like a disheveled person, that's not going to make me feel that confident or comfortable doing certain things. And I don't know, it's also that thing of, you know, in lockdown when we were working from home and people were kind of like, you should still try and make the effort to get dressed. It's basically that thought process, but like amplifies a bit. Is if that's you to make whatever you want to do to make yourself presentable, like do that to show up for yourself.
Yeah, I agree. Got another question for you. Do you think that grooming is more for the person and fashion is more for everyone else? Like when you get dressed, are you more doing it for the impression you give to your girlfriends or whatever? When you do makeup and you do your hair, you do it more for yourself?
I probably think more of the perception of my clothes. I wouldn't think as much about the perception of my makeup. I think more because I'm like, I don't care what other people think of my makeup. I think I'd be more like that. I think maybe I'd think about it all together of like, oh, is this dress and then like intense makeup a bit much? But I think I'd be more self-conscious of like, oh, like what does this outfit say about me? I think I'd more consider that than my beauty regime of that morning. How about you?
To me, my grooming is a means to my outfit. If my hair looks shit, which listen, 80% of the time it does, then I don't get to wear the things that I most want to wear. You know, if my hair's a mess, I don't wear dresses and I don't wear skirts. That's just the thing. I just think, oh, I look like a pig in red lipstick. Like, you know, that sort of like...
I did this on Sunday. I like put on a really nice dress because like, yeah, I'm going to wear this. And I didn't wear any makeup and my hair was like tied in like a bun on top of my head. And I was just like, I almost look worse than if I was wearing just like joggers or leggings and a t-shirt. I was like, I almost look worse because like I have half committed to this and I just felt a mess.
Yeah. See, yeah. So I'm not the most adventurous like makeup person, or I just want to look like I'm glowing a little bit. And that is just to allow me to wear my favorite outfits, and that's it. And I think that my outfits are more so than like makeup and grooming. My outfits are definitely more about how I present externally to other people and how other people view me than my grooming. And an example of this is I think me agonizing over what nail color I'm gonna get. No one gives a shit what nail color I'm wearing. No one cares that I've specifically chosen this pink because I think it will look good with my outfits for the next week.
Yeah.
That's the thought process that goes in my head. I'm like, okay, so what am I doing next week? What nail color does this involve? And it sounds ridiculous, but I think getting those like little grooming things, like whether it's the false eyelashes or getting I don't know, any other myriad of beauty treatments, sometimes they can make such a minute difference that no one else notices except you. So that's my overall thought process.
Interesting. Yeah.
So
the moral of the story is it's expensive, isn't it?
Yeah.
I guess we could ask that question. Do you think more about the external perception of your beauty or your outfit? Because maybe that's why women are driven to spend this much on beauty. Maybe they do feel the judgment of others or do it for other expectations. Maybe we aren't with the majority there.
I think also the way it's advertised to us as well, beauty is definitely like, make yourself feel as young as you, or make yourself look as young as you feel. And so you can feel good. You can feel like the woman you've always
you can look like this beautiful woman in the advert, or try to.
Yeah, because I'm worth it, all of that.
Yeah.
Whereas clothing is always positioned to us as being part of a tribe.
Yeah.
Being part of a trend.
A trend, yeah.
Externally. And I think that's really probably the reason for it.
Very good point.
We didn't even touch on grooming as we age.
Wow. Get me some Botox and call it a day.
That'll be another time. That'll be for our 40th birthdays that year.
Don't.
Well, thanks again for tuning in to another episode of Style Over Substance, guys.
Don't forget to check out our Instagram or Spotify to respond to this week's poll.
Bye.
Bye.